Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Just going to be doing a little play and explain. Starting off with ace king here. Maybe we'll get some action. Oh, we get 4-bet. Now, against some opponents, I might even consider folding this hand as people severely under 4-bet bluff. Additionally, he's a little bit deeper than 100 big blinds, maybe like 115 here. But against this player specifically, I have to go all in with my hand, as I think that he's 4-bet bluffing quite a lot. And if he has aces or kings, then it's just unfortunate. That's not a good timing for a call. Queens, okay, we're flipping. A little bit behind, but can hope for the best here. Would love to win one of these, please. That's brutal. Oh, okay. Heart! Heart! Oh, that's pretty bad. I've been running cold already on some other tables as well, losing a couple flips. So now we got the run cold on 3 different tables. We'll definitely have to throw the egg at him for that one. Unfortunate circumstance, but what can you do? I think we got it all in with more than enough equity, so nothing to really be upset about. Pocket nines in the big blind again. Big blind curse position. Hopefully this time it goes a little bit better. I'll be putting in the 3-bet if Invictus raises, which hopefully does. You know, I want some action. Oh, is that the exact same combo? Oh no, it's reversed. I had ace of hearts, king of spades last time. Oh, let's run it back to Lieber. This is a funny layout. Hopefully we get 4-bet again. I don't even know what to do here. Like, I feel like he's not 4-bet bluffing. Like, he wouldn't 4-bet bluff after just 4-betting me, I feel like. But he could be doing this with something like jacks. Like, I have genuinely nothing to do besides go all in against this guy again. Oh, he was 4-bet bluffing. Okay. I'll take it. It is what it is. Queen 10 off cannot defend, unfortunately. What can you do? Ace 10 4, playing over bets on this board and won't be doing it with my hand specifically. Would have been doing it if I had the backdoor clubs to go along with it. But after opponent checks again, I think I'm going to go for the B75. I think this is overfolded. Or we can just reverse straight. Now the question is, what are we targeting here? I think that there is a more 10x than ace-x in his range, but I'm still going to target the ace-x because I don't think 10x is paying that much. For that reason, I will just go type in a B75 again. Hope for an ace to call, and just hope we don't get raised. An ace should be calling the size no matter what, like a really weak ace. We'll see. Yeah, he thought about it, so I'm happy with my sizing. Also over here with 9-8 suited, we got 3-bet from the big blind, a guy who's not 3-betting that much, and obviously not a good board for us, so we're just going to be checking and giving up. He 3-bet to a small size, and there was a small blind cold caller, so I had a really good price to call that hand. Pocket 10 is going to be ISOing to 4 big blinds. And we'll be raising up the ace-8 offsuit. We get 3-bet with 10s from the big blind. This is probably one of the most under 3-bet spots. Facing a big blind 3-bet after ISOing. I think it would be a humongous punt to 4-bet this. However, I still love pocket pairs. And we're getting a decently good price considering a raise to 4, so I will call. Obviously just a terrible, terrible flop. We'll be folding on the flop, especially no spade. I'm hoping this guy in the top left raises that bet. He's pretty aggressive, so I bet especially small to get him to try and do something. 10s is pure folding here. Especially in practice where this guy is not finding the 4-bet bluffs, but even in theory, I would find it very hard to believe that tens with a spade ever calls that flop bet. We get 3-bet with 5-4 suited. I'm pretty sure this hand can mix call or fold when raising from the later positions, but I will call this time. We get a pretty good, pretty interesting board, I should say. Starting off with a check, not playing any donks on this board. And we do run into the ace flop after 4-betting kings, but after 3-betting kings, sorry. That should be a bit better. But I am still range betting this for 25% pot. And I'll be calling in the top left with my pair plus backdoor flush draw. Big all in. Whoa! He had 38% but was ahead. For 4 big blinds, it is what it is. I have to call. I can't really think about it too much. It's unfortunate, but I can't really do anything else there. If he had bet like half pot or something, I would have folded my kings, but against 4 big blinds, you kind of just gotta suck it up. Considering about calling down if Great Owl puts in a bet here. Yeah. Oh, aces magnet. Don't have to range bet this one, I don't think. And if I have a checking range, kings is the first hand that wants to check anyway. Invictus checks again, so I think I'm safe to go for the B75. That was mainly targeting any spade draws or Jack X that Invictus had. 9, 10, queen, 8, 5 spades. I think I play thirds on this board. Maybe actually B75. I'll run B75, and then planning on. I think that's too sticky with like a jack here. So for that reason, I'm just gonna check and reevaluate river. It's a nice river. After the snap check, I really think that the only real hand that's going to be calling me here is a queen. I wonder if he has any tens. You know, I really want to get kind of greedy and target a... Do I? How many tens versus how many queens does he have here? How much more often does he have a queen? I think... I think he has a queen more often. I'll just be 75. Oh, it's a 10, isn't it? It's a straight? A flopped straight? I was going to 2x pot. I would have figured a flop straight would have raised me on the flop. I wasn't even putting that as part of his range. Well, I guess he lost the minimum there. That was pretty good by him. Wow. That's an important one to just put in a little note about how they play flop straights. Or like they flop the nuts and then not raise the flop. That's kind of interesting. We'll be checking my queen jack on this board. Ooh, what is this? This guy loves to slow play, apparently. Oh no, that's a different guy. Sir Donkey is the one that got me with the flop straight. I can probably call or jam queens here if I'm playing a jam-only strategy against an ISO. I will call, though. Interesting flop. I don't know why I'm thinking. He does have ace-jack that he squeezes, and this guy might have ace-jack as well. He only has 4% 3-bet, so the guy on my left, Buffalo, 1, 2, 3, might also have ace-jack. This guy can also have kings, obviously, but besides ace, I don't think anyone has jack-9 here. I also don't think he's going to check ace-jack on the flop. He could check kings on the flop, but at that point it is what it is. I think I just go for value against a king or a jack. I don't have a B50 sizing, so I just type in B50 manually. Interested to see what Great Gray Owl does here. I do have the Queen of Clubs in my hand, so it makes it a little, if I get raised, it's a little less likely he has some kind of like club draw that he'd bluff, like Queen Jack of Clubs. Gonna be raising tens, of course. Maybe we'll get Sir Donkey to 3-bet us again. He seems to only 3-bet me, which I don't mind too much. Oh, always with the needle. Oh, we get to run it back. Heart Club, and now we have Heart Diamond. We'll be ISOing. I always use 5 big blinds after you're limp from the small blind. 2 beautiful flops for tens. Wasn't meant to be. If button, I was going to say I'll 3-bet my hand if button opens. King 10 offsuit is supposed to be folding in theory. However, I want to call against Belieber. I'm actually supposed to be 3-bet or folding ace 10 as my worst 10. Gonna be betting my hand for half pot here. Just repping a jack, basically. Or actually any pair. He should be betting so many jacks on flop, I can kind of bet half pot with like any pair in that spot. 9, 8, 3. I think my hand makes a good bluff. And I have to be using a bigger size because I'm not range betting that board after opening under the gun. We'll be putting in the check jam against Buffalo after hitting my 2-pair. Let's type in some bigger size. Wonder what he was betting folding with. Folding that quickly. I think he might have been running some funny bluff there. We got Queen 10. Oh, what is this? Oof, Belieber with the worst of it. Gonna be calling exploitatively against this guy. Have a couple notes that make me want to play more pots against him. After a quick call on the flop, gonna be always value betting my hand. I think he has a worse 10 a lot of the time, and he didn't really think about raising. That's really unfortunate. I mean, I just call and suck it up if he has a hand like jacks or a king. Okay. He had me from the start. I was going to check back on river. Oh, beautiful river card. Maybe the turn bet was a little too greedy. I figured that he'd think about raising a king, but I don't think that he ever thinks about raising a flopped full house. So that was kind of just unfortunate sort of situation. I guess most people I would run this as a 4-bet bluff, but I will not against Belieber because he overcalls 4-bets, I'm pretty sure. Also, Yuki plays. I have no club in my, or no spade in my hand. The 7 is unfortunate because he has less 7, 8, but against this guy, he's very aggressive. I think I do have to put in the call. 2 is mediocre. He does have 3, 4 suited, so that gets there. Besides that, doesn't complete anything meaningful. Pots it. Repping a pretty narrow range. I think he still has too many spade draws. Yeah, I think that he has too many spade draws here. What can you do? Maybe I lucked out because I was going to call him on the river. And maybe he does just have a set that he'll check back or something like that. Okay, this is also quite unfortunate timing. Yeah, like, I think that he really only jams spades on the river, so I think my read was reasonable that he had a spade draw that got there. Or this is a good bluff with 7, 8. But I think that would be a punt to jam 7, 8 on the river. Maybe it's 7, 8 with a single spade. I guess that's your main bluff. I don't want to analyze it too much. It's just my hand cannot call, especially with the 7 blocker. That's really bad. Unfortunate situation. I'm pretty sure he did have a spade draw that got there, but not much to do. We opening Jack 10 offsuit and Queen 8 suited. I like to open up all the marginal opens. If you're playing with people that you have a post-flop edge against, it's okay to open up more hands. Ooh, this is a fold, but against these two players, I really want to call. Interesting flop. I'll be betting a third here. Against this player, just going to be calling. Nothing else really to do. I have a read. This guy types in specific sizes when he was bluffing multi-way. And if we look back to the flop bet, it was 7.5 into an odd amount. So he could also be typing out value hands. I don't know. However, I think I'm going to end up having to make this call down because he has missed spades. And I don't think that he's value betting hand like pocket nines thin enough. So he's really representing an overpair in this spot. It's unfortunate that he goes half pot. That really makes me think that he has more value. But the fact that he goes half pot also makes it so that I only have to be right a very small portion of the time, which I definitely am. So I just have to kind of side call here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess we can just note that he also types in round sizes with value. But against that player specifically, I really think that he's over bluffing a lot. So I just have to put in the call and suck it up if he actually has a good hand. King 10. I think this is probably like the very bottom of my range, so I kind of do have to put in the bluff here. He called me with some queens. However, he does have other hands that aren't queens that are still ahead of me. So, reasonable bluff. With two players behind, I don't think I can call that hand. We'll throw the egg. Have not been running too hot this playthrough, but what can you do? As long as we are making the right decisions, that's the important part. King 8-3. Checking most of my hands to the person that cold called me because their cold calling range is supposed to be stronger than my under the gun opening range. Ooh. Let's see. Against this player, when he opens to 3 big blinds, I'll only be flat calling ace-10 suited. He has very low PFR compared to how many hands he plays, which means he's not raising that frequently. He does end up folding this time. Such a strong hand, ace-10 suited. I think I'm going to end up putting in the call against Believer here. Seems a little bit suspect to cold call, but... And I will be calling Believer down here. There is just another hand on a different table where he got stacked in an unfortunate fashion, and he has known to get a little creative after stuff like that happens. If he has a overpair, he has an overpair. In this spot, I kind of just got to suck it up and make the call down. I think I've been saying that a lot of times today, and I've been wrong every time. So hopefully this time is different. Let's see what he has. He has king 6 suited, so I think my read was pretty on point. He wants to run it once, hoping no king, no 4, please. That's a very beautiful sight to see. Against Toast here, we get the 3-bet. Not enough hands to determine if he's 3-betting super tight. Even though he has 0% 3-bet, it's a pretty small sample size. So I will just be putting in the 4-bet with kings to 21 big blinds, as we are kind of deeper stacked. Snap call and an abysmal flop. I am range betting this board, and I can use the 10th pot sizing. So we'll just type out my 10th pot and go about my day. Probably one of the worst cards I can see because he has pocket queens. However, I'm going to get very greedy and go for a 10th pot again, fold to any raise, and move on with my life. And yeah, there it is. Not much to do. I think that's just an unfortunate spot. Oh, we get to run it back, hopefully. And with the 7-6 of hearts. Just like looking back at the Belieber hand again, that's why it's very important to be looking at what's happening on other tables and whatnot, because situations like that will come up and it can influence your decision quite a bit. I think I typically would be calling down there regardless, but it's a lot less close. 6-7 of hearts against Belieber. I'm just going to be calling more of my hands because I think I just have an edge post flop against Belieber at this point in time. Unfortunate we couldn't scoop with kings, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, as some might say. 20.8 big blinds. Question is, do I jam? I think probably. Like, there's so many turns I just don't want to see. Yeah, like he has so many snap folds, which is unfortunate. I don't know. That's a tough spot because even though he's like way over bluffing that spot, it's kind of like there's so many turns that are just really terrible for me. So I think that it was just probably a bit better to jam on the flop. That's debatable though. It was pretty close between calling. It might have been better to call and then jam on the turn if he's really tilting off. Unfortunate. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be calling any 3-bet from Belieber at this point, just because I think that he's not in the best state of mind and might be making some errors post-flop. So because of that, it's much more profitable to call with way more hands. Jack 9. Yeah, not turning third pair into a bluff. Ace. Do I call against this guy? It's a little bit loose. All right, Belieber over here. I think we do the strategy of baiting him into a 4-bet by min clicking, and if he actually happens to have a better hand, then it is what it is. So I think we min click, hope he jams, and then just call it off. If he has a higher pocket pair, then oh well. Like, okay. Oh my god, that's brutal. BBJ, please. That's just brutal. I think. Yeah. 10. I can't even. My hearts are covered. Okay. Oh, I think that was a fine play, even based on what just happened. I think he would be going all in with way worse hands in that spot, so it kind of just is what it is. When you think that they're going to jam a hand like ace-5 or king-9, then doing that play is pretty plus EV. Oh, this is a really good spot. With aces, I'm only going to call because I expect Belieber to squeeze a lot. He might not squeeze, but it's also not the end of the world because this guy is kind of a short stack guy. Ah, too bad. I think that it's worth it because if I can win a whole stack off Belieber, it's kind of better than winning a lot of a stack off this guy. I'm going to be putting in the raise on the flop to 13 and then just jamming a lot of turns. That's a great turn to just go all in. He still has overpairs. Like,
He has overpairs and strong 10x here, so I don't really expect those to fold. I am double blocking ace 10, but he still has jacks, queens, and kings since I didn't 3-bet pre-flop. I don't think he's ever folding an overpair. The only thing he could consider folding is like a weak 10. Yeah, I'm lucky that it was a low board. We get it in with 95% now, which is nice instead of like 80% on the flop. And we do end up holding both. See, that is the downside of not 3-betting aces and trying to get someone that's tilted to put in the squeeze. I think if villain in that hand was 100 big blinds deep, I wouldn't risk not 3-betting aces and would just do it. He does not have a lot of twos at all. He just has a lot of high card hands, which of them, most of them don't contain an 8. So I'm just going to c-bet again for protection, mostly. I'd expect him to think about raising any overpairs on the flop, so I'm not too worried about that. And he basically has very few 8s in his calling range, even to a quarter. Facing a third from this player, I think my hand just makes a good raise. I have equity to both of the overcards. That's an interesting turn. Makes you want to go really small, like 4, and then jam river. I will be calling with 6-7 suited. And I think this works enough at the time where I just have to do it and suck it up if he calls me. The 4 big blind bet just kind of like makes him a little bit more scared that I actually hit something. And it's also small enough where the river jam is still scary. Obviously not the hand I want to see when we call the 4 bet with 7-6 suited. Nothing to do but fold on the flop. This should also be a fold in theory, I know, but I like to over 3-bet when playing in position. I think I have a post-flop edge, so 3-betting a little bit more than normal is not a terrible thing. Even though Belieber is going to be doing some funny 3-bets, I think it's still a little too loose to call the 10-9 offsuit. Queen, 8-7, no spade in my hand. I don't think this hand is betting very often. Putting in the 1 big blind bet to fold out some worse high card hands. Obviously this guy just hit a boat. Maybe an ace, but I don't think an ace jams that quickly. Small bet by this guy is good. Well played. I am blocking Jack 10, and he kind of thought about that sizing deliberately. I don't know if he would take that sizing with a set either, so I'm just going to put in a big raise. That's not even a huge raise, but I think people underbluff this spot, so I think he respects this raise a little bit too much. We'll see, though. Yeah, that's a good outcome. I'm just going to be putting in my typical ISO size to 6 big blinds. 8-7-3. If I was playing balanced, I would always be checking this board. Actually, I'm going to be checking this board because he will c-bet pocket pairs, which I can then raise. And if he happens to have a set, then I will lose money. 4, actually that's a really bad card for me because he has 5-6 and pocket 4s. However, I'm still going to go for the B75 and then just see what he does. I can get called by heart draws, single pair hands, plus gut shots and whatnot. I have to call this. This guy likes to donk half pot with a decent hand, so I don't think I got enough folds if I raise, but I have to call. Interesting river, just going to be snapping it off. Is there merit to raising? No, not really. Like, he has a worse hand a lot, but I don't think he calls a worse hand a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think I could have played that any differently, honestly. Like, I kind of have to call with the gutter to the nuts and 2 overs. And when he bet, yeah. I mean, not much to do on the river. Just call, 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 I guess. Ooh, nice 2-pair with 10-3 here. This guy jams. Unfortunately, this is one that we definitely have to call because he jams over pairs here. So it is what it is. Yeah. Limp jam aces. Once run it runs once. Okay, I like 82%. No ace, no 9, no 6. Do I get to peel it? Oh, no, that's fine too. On the 5, I think B75 is reasonable. Yeah, I was kind of joking when I said unfortunately have to call because obviously that's a very nice hand. Hope you guys enjoyed the play and explain. I didn't get any interesting hands the last few orbits, but I think there were a few interesting hands throughout the session. Unfortunately, not a winning session. We ran quite a bit under all in EV, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Hopefully next one will be better. Stay tuned, and I hope you guys have a great day.